Users you don't want.
Yeah,
this
I
one
remember
was
this
contentious.
one. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah. Let's bring it back. All right. When you're just getting started, many startups will take every user they can get. They have a strong idea of a problem, and they want to attract as many users with that problem as possible. Unfortunately, when you open up the barn doors, you get all sorts of people with all sorts of problems. Some of them will try to hijack your product to solve a problem you didn't intend to solve. By and large, these hijackers are users you do not want. When has this happened to you?
I mean, Justin TV was by definition hijacked.
Yeah.
Like, we built a product to allow people to live stream their lives, and within a year it was being used to stream copywritten content around the world. It's like absolutely the definition of hijacked product. And what's interesting is that I'm a little afraid of my phrasing here. I wish I didn't say that these hijack users are not users you want, because it turns out that, like, sometimes they are.
Yeah.
It turns out that, like, you know, the reason why we even had an inkling to do Twitch was because some percentage of the hijacked users were video gamers. And, like, it turns out that that could have been a much bigger community if we helped it and then eventually became one. So this kind of, like, users using your product for a whole variety of things, I like to think about it more like on a spectrum. Mm-hmm. Like, there's the user who's using your product as intended.
Yeah.
Great. Makes you feel good. Maybe there's a business there, maybe there isn't, right? There's the user who's using your product in interesting ways with potential.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Study those users. Those users are very important.
Yeah.
Video gamers and Justin TV. There are users who are using your product with ways that it's extremely clear to you that there isn't long-term value, even if there is short-term value, right? I'd argue that those were the copywritten streamers on Justin TV. Mm-hmm. There was short-term value because we could monetize with ads and so on and so forth, but long-term, we weren't really creating value.
Yeah.
And then they're like hijack users. I'd argue like those are users who are using your product and they're creating no value, and they're probably actively decreasing your value. They're harming your network, right? Yeah. And like for us, you know, that would be people like, you know, some people streamed like pretty horrible things on Justin TV, right? And like that was not good. And so what's interesting is that now when I talk to startups at YC, they don't know how to recognize these hijack users and just kick them out. Mm. And like they kind of like no one talks about these people. They always talk about like everyone before them,
yeah,
right? Which like those are users that have some value. And I'm talking about the hijack users. And it's like, if you can identify the hijack users, you need to kick them out. Like they're actually going to hurt you more than they're going to help you. Mm-hmm. And so I think this is important. And I think that like, it's not that the hijack users have like bad intentions even. No. They can, some do, but some it's just they want to use your product to do what they want to do. And that is literally going to hurt your business. There are some things that like if people do on your platform, it hurts your business.
How would you classify someone who just takes up all of the customer support time?
It depends on how much revenue they're generating.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'd argue that if they are generating enough revenue to justify that support time, great.
Yeah.
If you have a free product,
not so much. Yeah.
Not so much, probably, right? Especially if you're not learning. If they're taking up a bunch of your support time, but you're learning and like you're actually improving your product because of it, great. But like, for example, like let's say, I'll create like a hypothetical example off the top of my head, right? Imagine that in the beginning of Airbnb, someone wanted to use Airbnb to host like drug parties, right? Like illegal drug parties, like crack parties. And they thought of these Airbnbs as like mobile crack dens, right? Well, let's think about this for a second. Like, so on one hand, right? Well, they are paying.
Yeah,
right?
They're paying for the big apartments.
They're paying for the nice places, right? Yeah, they got money, right? Interesting. On the other hand, they're probably destroying those apartments, doing something highly illegal, getting the police called on them, like da-da-da-da, right? Yeah. And it's like, these are hijack users. Like, these are not the types of people you want. And like, you can be a hijack user and there's still some positive.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if there's like way too much negative, it's not worth the positive, you know? And that's actually where I see a lot. I actually see it a lot where it's like the hijack user's paying. So you feel bad because when the hijack user is not paying, usually you feel less bad kicking them out. Yes.
Yeah.
When they're paying, you're like, well, but they're paying,
Right.
and it's like, no,
Yeah.
you should still kick them out.
Yeah, especially in the context of like you have these metrics you want to hit, and you're like even during YC,
yeah, right. Oh my god, like this is real. This is stuff. But it's like no.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you end it in a nice, clean way by saying, by focusing on solving one problem really well, you're betting on making a small amount of people very happy. If you let any user that walks in the door, the product roadmap, you're going to end up doing a shitty job at half solving a lot of problems.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear with this ending, my whole goal is that like I said, there's like this spectrum of potentially useful users.
Yeah.
My whole goal is like, don't let the hijack users steer your product roadmap.
Totally.
Like it's really totally okay if you want to explore some of those use cases that are not the use case that you thought, that are still use cases that like could be good for you. Then it's totally okay to explore, to experiment, so on and so forth. But it's like, don't let your app, like don't let the crack den guys on Airbnb control the product roadmap for Airbnb,
right? And
suggest the features that they want. Like that's not where you want to go.
I mean, this is sort of the mentality. It's like, at the end of the day, you have to have some opinion about your product.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I don't know, like the market's going to take it wherever, the customers take it wherever.
Yes. It's really hard to build product without some opinion.
Yeah.